Welcome to Horror Movies and Beyond. I'm your host, Ivotres Littles, and this is Shudderary, where we go behind the screens of Shudder Original and exclusive movies. Today, I have a really awesome special guest. He's a YouTuber and a horror content creator. Let's welcome Tyrone. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me on. I've been watching for the past, couple years, and I love your Shudderary. What you're doing. I love it.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but I love doing it. um, Today, we're going to be talking about Shudder Original Movie, Sissy. Man. but before we get into that, there will be spoilers. Not a lot, maybe. I don't know. But if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Come back. But no, stay. It's worth a stay.
Yes.
We won't spoil it too much that you don't want to see it. It's gonna entice you to want to see it. That's the whole point.
Yes, just a little taste.
So tell us a little bit about yourself before we begin.
Oh well, my name is the Evil Tyrone. I have a YouTube channel where I interview horror content creators, no matter like what it is, whether you're a writer, director, if you make reviews, whatever. Like I just want to talk horror, and make friends in the horror community. It's been an amazing journey. I'll be coming up to a year in a couple weeks, and it's been awesome, and I just remember when I first started doing interviews, and I actually got you on, and I was just like, man, Ivotres said yes, and now it's a year later, and I'm on Shudderary. Like this is amazing. It's amazing.
Oh. Well, thank you for having me on your show. I always appreciate those opportunities. Okay, so we're going to talk about Sissy. And Cecilia is one of the characters. The main character is invited to Emma Bachelorette weekend, where she gets stuck in a remote cabin. Where did that come from?
No,
because it was a bachelorette party, but it turned very south in an unusual way. I mean, it's interesting, and we're going to get into that.
Oh yes.
So, what was your initial thoughts about this film before we really get into it? Because this is my second time watching it, and the second time I felt sad. Then the first time I was like, oh man, this is like so silly, funny, fun, gory. But then I actually observed it, and I felt like Sissy.
Yeah. It takes you there, and that's what I like about. That's one of the things that I like about this film. I think, but my first watch, because at first you see the title and you're like, okay, where are they going with this, and then you find out her name, and it's like, okay, Cecilia. I get it, nickname, and you're watching it, and it's about an influencer, and just her just what's going on in her world, and then you see like what's going on in her head a little bit, just from even the title cards, to the glitter and magic in the title card, Sissy and everything, and it's it I can see it was funny to me in a lot of parts. But also, I can agree. I think it was sad. It had a lot of sad elements and a lot of reflective elements, because a lot of the themes that they were dealing with, I think a lot of us deal with on a daily, or have dealt with, especially as adolescents,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. I mean, when we first meet Sissy, she's, she's up high now, so you can't call her Sissy. It's Cecilia. But when you meet her, she's like this influencer, self-help, better yourself. But then as the camera pulls out, you see that who she really is it's given us a taste that, okay, what the camera sees is what she is, but what she's outside of that is just she's very sad. She doesn't have as much confidence. But it's I think it pokes fun at influencers. Like,
Yeah.
you know, the audience only sees so much. And then she's like, she pulls down her like pants in her belly. She like pokes out her belly and she just lives off pizza. House is the mess. And she's a mess. She only wants to be validated
Yes.
through the social media. But then again, she doesn't have friends. She doesn't have an outside life. I think as an influencer, I mean, I find myself kind of doing that. I mean, that shouldn't be anything I would kind of,
No,
you
we're all
know,
there.
confess to. But
We're all there.
I mean, we all have that moment. If someone says, "Oh, I don't care what anyone says," I think that's a complete lie. We all do at some extent. So, I mean, seeing the reveal, because that's kind of what it was. What did
Yes.
you think about that?
I loved it. I thought it made her character a little bit real for me because, you know, you see, like, we begin and we see, you know, sincerely Cecilia, and just like the face that she puts on, you know, because sometimes, like, when we go live or we're doing certain things, we gotta get into a certain mode, and you see that when like you said, when the camera pans out, like, you see what's really going on the sides, and, you know, the pizza boxes stacked up, and you're just like, oh, this is how it must, you know, really be, even because everybody's, you know, has different levels of what they do and everything like that. But even with me, like, it's black background, you take this background down, it gets a little ratchet in the background, you know. So I really enjoyed the reveal, and, you know, just how not necessarily put together she was. Now, of course, it went super left, you know, with the not put togetherness, but it was nice to see, you know, especially because we're in an era and an age where, you know, it seems like everyone wants to be an influencer with TikTok and everything like that. So, you know, I thought it was very, very relevant, you know, to the time.
We do see a glimpse of her and her friendship with is it Emma?
Yes, Emma. Uh-huh.
And that she lives off that, like, that remembrance, even though they kind of parted ways and then they meet up again, where I think it was a pharmacy or something like that.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh my God, Sissy," you know, and go hang out, and not knowing who Emma really is now. Goes to a party at a club or something like that, and you could see that moment for Sissy. I keep saying Sissy. I'm gonna say Sissy because I want to say Celia because I feel like she'd get mad.
Oh yeah,
Cecilia. I mean, there's so many. Oh my God. Anyway, Sissy.
Yeah, Sissy.
And you can feel that moment where she just feels uneasy because she lives her life on camera.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, and then it was like that happiness. You see that happiness where she's just like, oh, finally I could be myself, and I made up with my old friend. And then there's Alex. Now, whoa. How was the meeting of Alex? Alex is kind of like her arch nemesis, kind of the one that started the Sissy.
Yeah.
You know, you're a sissy or whatever, chanting, and then
yeah.
So, what do you think?
I mean, as honestly, I think she has some trash friends, you know, to be honest. Like the Emma, when Emma was introduced, I'm like, okay, this is her friend. We see the video camera footage, and, you know, it's very nostalgic, takes you back, reminded me of Spice Girls, you know, back in the day and stuff like that. But when she's like, oh yeah, come to my party, you know, I'm like, okay, you know. And then I kind of related to it because it's like you run into an old friend and then they bring you to a party, and then you kind of like, you're connecting with your old friend, but you kind of feel left out because you're putting yourself in a whole nother world, a whole nother reality, so to speak. And then Alex comes in, which, you know, everyone has history, you know, which we find out, you know, because at first I'm like, well, what does she do? Like, what's the tension here? But we find out that it's very, very triggering, you know, on both. And I felt like it was triggering on both sides, which kind of we don't really see in a lot of films, where both characters are triggered, you know, and it's valid. It's a valid reason, you know.
Mm-hmm. And when okay, so Emma did invite Sissy. Hey, we're going to be at this. Okay, the cabin did not look like a cabin that I thought it was going to be a cabin. I was expecting to see the cabin from Evil Dead.
Yes.
No, that looked like the Kardashian cabin. I mean, it was like fancy. Chalet. Yeah, it was like, what is this? So I guess because this was filmed in Australia, I believe. So maybe their cabins are different. I need to go there. Anyway, so yeah, so she gets there. Oh, Alex is going to be there. But before that, this kind of tells me how Sissy really is, her personality, because she was watching an old video of her and Emma when they were young, and they had the purple hair. So she ended up dyeing her hair, and she was driving a yellow car. Yes. Now that is important, and we'll get into that. So then that's when she finds out there's the Alex, but she didn't find that out until she got there, right? Was it?
Yeah, she didn't. Well, she didn't find that out until I think they were on the road.
That's right, and she was like,
Yeah, that sorbet road trip, you know, little.
That's messed up. How would they not know? Now that's Emma's fault, because she knew what happened between her and Alex. Why would you do that? I mean.
And I think some of us, well, a lot of us, I don't want to say all, but a lot of us have been in that situation to where one of our friends is like, you know what? I have this friend over here. I have that friend over here. Let me pull everybody together. And no matter if there's been issues before, or, you know, what, no matter if it's traumatic or whatever, let me bring these people together, not knowing that, you know, everyone's adults now and everyone has anxiety, and, you know, we're all dealing with it in our own different ways, you know. So.
Yeah, like you said, trash. No, because that's messed up. I mean, I don't think I've ever been in that kind of situation, but I have been in where I didn't get along with certain people, and then it, you know, that one friend that brings everybody together. But do they care the amount of respect? Because when she was sitting there, and not sitting there, but when she came in and Alex was like, you know, triggered and pull him outside, and then finally they were trying to have some type of conversation, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse, and I just felt like that was completely Emma's fault. And even when Sissy was trying to talk to them, say, hey, you know, I remember that old, you know, time capsule box and all this stuff, and Alex came in there and just cut the TV off, and it just like, and Emma just sat there. You're not gonna say nothing?
Trash. Especially because like when they got in there and they're like, oh, Alex comes out, she's like, oh, I'm sorry, you don't have a bed, you know, you can take the couch, you know. And then they're all sitting their asses on the couch. I was just, I don't know if it's the Virgo in me, but I just had an issue.
I did have an issue. I would have been like, can you get your asses off my bed? I mean, and they kept ignoring her. She would try to talk to them. I've been in there. I've been in that kind of situation where you just don't matter. Then it's like, why did you invite me? Oh, before she left, because remember she was laying on the couch at her home, and then there was someone of herself crying, and then it was like bloody hands. So it kind of gave us indicate that she's not all there. But then again, it was like, but she's an influencer about self-help. I mean, it was just confusing. What's going on here?
But isn't that the truth, though?
It is the truth. It is the truth, because when I cut these cameras off, I'm gonna let it all hang out.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so, but I think what really got me is that it's just Emma. It wasn't Sissy until she just started going downhill. I think it was Emma that just completely irritate me. Because first of all, if that's supposed to be your friend, you're supposed to stick up for her. Then you find out that what happened when they were younger. Oh, you're my friend. I didn't invite you to my birthday party because nobody likes you.
Yeah.
But then that same attitude carry over as an adult. I'm going to invite you to this, not respecting your boundaries or how you may feel about a situation. Only care about herself.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
Very selfish. Very, very selfish. I mean, this it to both. Even, you know, like I really didn't care too much for Alex, but in that moment, I was like, bruh, like, you know, after we find out what we find out, like, why would you invite her to the party?
Yeah, I would be on Alex's side. I was like, what the, you know, like that doesn't make any sense. Anyway, but when and you know the cold part,
Yes.
when they all went to the lake and left her.
Yes.
Here's some cold coffee and some food, and drew a map with X
Petty.
marks the spot. I was like,
Petty.
that was the definition of petty. And then when she gets there, they're talking bad about her.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, stop it, guys. You shouldn't talk about her like that. Well, you invited her. And then you have, what's his name? Jamie, who's like, you're canceled, girl.
Sissy's canceled.
I mean, he was snapping those fingers. I was like, wait a minute. But that's Tracy's boyfriend, and that was questionable.
Yeah, I feel like Jamie is another trash person, you know, because especially when they were at the dinner table before the night before, you know, when they were having the discussion, and then Sissy was talking, or Cecilia was talking a little bit about, you know, what she does, and they were like, oh my God, you have all these followers, and then he starts, you know, questioning like her integrity, like, oh, you don't have a license, you know, so why are you giving people advice and all this? Like, it just kept going downhill.
Yeah. And then that part, when she went into the bathroom, when Sissy went to the bathroom after just being demolished by everybody, and put that rope around her or whatever.
Yes.
And then she went to where she felt comfortable, where she felt loved, which is the internet, which is her social media. And then you have Emma coming in there talking about, oh, you know, giving her that sob story. I understand. Oh, are you okay? Knowing she don't care.
Yeah, she could have said, I'm sorry. She was just like, are you okay? Like, you could have said, I'm sorry for inviting you, girl. You know, everybody is, you know, come on now. Terrible.
Like you said, trash. Okay. And then that's when we go back outside. Now, everybody decide to leave for whatever. Well, there's many reasons, but we won't get into that. So Alex laying there, like, and then she's like, Cece, are you up there? Come down. She come down there. And then just dogs her out.
It's taking it a little too far, especially when she grabbed her phone and, you know, started going live on her account. I was like, oh, you want to be.
She was like, so tell people what you did to me. Girl, first of all, you touched my phone. You about to go. That's it for you. But how embarrassing. I mean, I you kind of understand Alex, but I just feel like the extreme, like she didn't get justice, or maybe she wanted something to happen to Cece. I mean, there's a gap where we don't know what happened to them besides the accident, and then they're meeting up again.
Yeah.
And then, her face there, she was like, every day I have to see the mark. Well, then that goes back to Emma. I mean,
Facts.
she invited her. Then now what? You're
And y'all
mad.
got the bracelet. I mean, the necklace, the friendship.
Yeah, at the
necklace.
table. Oh, we're besties. I would have. That is so disrespectful. I mean, it's so many levels. Just trash.
That's what this movie should be called, Trash Friends.
Ew, oh my gosh. Okay. So let's get into the kills, because the kills were wild. I mean, I have 6 of them. It could be more. But the first one, I'm just run through them and then you pick your favorite. Or do you have any favorites? So we have Alex's head getting bashed in and a bullet to the brain.
by a crystal, nonetheless. She's not just a regular rock, by a crystal, because she's sincerely Cecilia.
And then we have Jamie falling down the cliff. That was funny.
Yeah, I laughed my ass off when that happened. I mean, R.I.P. Jamie, but you were a jackass. So.
He was. Tracy she was scalped and drowned.
Yeah, I was like, how powerful is the Jets? What's going on here? The Jets.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have Fran through the windshield and head to the tire ratio.
Brutal, especially the callback from the roadkill earlier in the movie. Brutal.
And it was like slow. You see like the eye just pop out.
Yes.
Then we have Emma skull bashing moment. I guess you could see a lot on her mind, because that was messed up. Because Alex thought she was Sissy because of her hair color. Because Sissy kidnapped her and dyed her hair.
I was just like, yo, you must have had a lot of strength. And it was kind of like poetic, because I guess she couldn't see, and and just very hardcore.
Very. And Sissy got the last laugh because she was filming the whole time, filming that incident with Alex and Emma, telling Alex, thank you. The disrespect.
Oh, when I saw that camera flash, when she ripped out that phone, I saw that camera flash. I'm like, oh, it's done. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. She got this.
She got this. But, okay, is Sissy crazy? Was she crazy? See, it was so much conflicting, because I was on her side, but then I wasn't, but then I was on her side. Some of those kills were accidents.
Yes, they were. I feel like she, you know what, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say she wasn't crazy. She was just triggered. And because she didn't get the proper help that she needed as a child, especially after the events that we saw, because even when she did what she did as a child, I was just looking like, well, that's someone who doesn't know how to deal with, her anger, or, just how to deal with conflict on that level, because we've all been teased, we've all been, made fun of, and we've all just wanted to knock someone's head off, or dig something into somebody. But it takes you see what happens, and it's like, oh, I think it was a little untreated, then it's like, once as many accidents happen, like how do you stop, like once it starts, like, how do you stop it from rolling downhill?
Did you have a favorite kill?
I did like Fran's kill, when she got her head run over, but I would say, like, because it just the eye popping out and everything, and I was just like, she kept speeding up, and she's like, you're her fiance and you don't know where she's at, And it was very, very intense. I love
Mhm.
that one. But the crystal, because I'm like, I've never seen death by crystal before. It was just very, especially
Mm.
because of who her character is, very zen, and sincerely Cecilia, very, very, I'm trying my best, and then she whacks her across the head with a crystal. It's like, oh, that whoever wrote that, moi.
I'm gonna have to go with the scalping and drowning because that's a double. Like, what came first though?
I think well, yeah, true,
Because it's like you don't know. You just see
yeah.
her there scalped and dead. But
It's
it had to be okay. Then what came? See, well, if the scalp came, then she wouldn't have drowned because she would have just been bald and standing up. Maybe, yeah. So it must have been drowning, and then she got scalped to add the flavor.
yeah. I think I think that's the genius of that scene. It's like, we don't know which one came first, but I also like the fact that it was just so chaotic, and she's just like, sissy, and I'm like, damn girl, you ain't gonna help her out. Like, she, you know but now that I think about it, because I was thinking about Alex and the crystal scene. I'm like, she didn't die, so that wasn't technically a kill. That was just a blow. So Fran would
Yeah.
probably be Fran would have to be my number one.
Well, the police officer shot Fran.
Yeah.
I mean, not Fran. Shot
Alex.
Alex in the head, and she's
Yeah.
just like pulling her brain out or something.
Yeah,
Or bullet. Was it the bullet? Yeah.
Yeah, the bullet, which was radical in itself, because she rose up like a zombie. Like, I love that scene. I love that scene where I was just like, damn, she's still alive. What's going on?
Yeah. Okay. So Sissy got the last laugh.
Yes.
Is that fair? It's a horror movie that has an ending. Is it satisfying? Are we satisfied that Sissy got the last laugh? Because she's still unwell.
I kind of want to see a sequel. Like, I was telling my girl last night, I'm like, I kind of want to see a sequel, because 10 million followers, like, to see her following grow, and just to see her from like the rope that she had, and be like, all right, this is my circle, but now you can buy it yourself. You can buy my book. So I think to the victims it wasn't necessarily fair, but I think on some level there was some truth in that ending, because a lot of people who got to the top, so to speak, did it the bloody way, and not the most prettiest way, but the bloody way.
Yeah, but they got there. I mean, that's all that, because as an audience, that's what we see. Because when the camera pulled out, you could see her whole life got bigger.
Yes.
And brighter.
Yes.
Because of that massacre. She survived the Alex massacre.
Yeah, I'll start cracking up. She was like, yeah, I survived the Alex massacre. I'm like, really? Really? That's what we doing?
It worked for her. So going back to the yellow car and the purple hair, yeah, because it was a video that explained why was that important. Because when her and Emma were kids, she asked Emma, what do you want to be when you grow up, or what do you want to have? And she was like, purple hair and a yellow car. Mm-hmm. And then it was back to Sissy, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to stay where I am. And she did. Sort of.
Yeah.
So trying to rekindle a friendship that was 10, 15 years ago was not the healthiest way to do, because in the end, and as things started to happen, you kind of see this is going to be a bad trip. The balloon that flew away when they got out the car, them hitting a animal on the way there, it was just all bad omens.
Yes, and the horrible karaoke singing at the
Oh,
party.
oh, yeah. That would have anybody just kill over.
After she buries Alex for the first time,
Hmm.
then she's like, oh, she cuts on the camera and she's like, oh yeah, hello my followers, and I'm like, girl, it's a body right there. It's a body right there. She's like,
Yeah,
hello,
that's right. Oh my
hello
God.
people, so I love those moments. It was very, it's a fun time, but it's also a reflective time. It's a fun reflective time, I would say.
Hmm. Yeah, this movie is quite different. It does touch on the whole influencer. What you may see is not what it may seem.
Yes.
People go through stuff and people hide it, and she hid a lot of it. Her own, she had a lot of demons that was not resolved from being bullied, and she hid it, and hid it well with her 200,000 followers, but then gained millions because of a story that she just so happened to film her point of view and able to control it. So it worked in her favor. Sissy is living her best life, full of lies and blood. She's thriving.
Yes.
Be like Sissy.
Yes, definitely thriving.
So I want to say thank you. Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. It's always a pleasure.
Oh yes. I was waiting. I was so pumped, and as soon as you sent me the message, I was like, it's Sissy taken, because it's one of my favorites of the year, especially on Shudder.
Where can people find you?
They can check me out on Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube, all at the Evil Tyrone. I'll be just, pushing out more content for the new year, and just interviewing and, having more discussions with the horror community, and having fun, meeting more cool people like this woman right here, Ivotres Littles. She's amazing. You are actually one of the first horror content creators of color that I found on YouTube, and you are one of the reasons that I felt like seen, or there was a space for me. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
I try my best. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that, because it's hard, man. It's definitely hard. Getting out there and just helping one another is amazing. It is an amazing achievement to actually do that. Once you're step up, just keep going, but also reach out and help a brother and sister up too.
Oh, yes.
We need each other for this. Definitely.
Oh, yes.
So, but like I said, thank you so much. Thank you for joining me on Shudderary. And for everyone out there, if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you like, subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment and follow Evo Tyrone. He's amazing. He's a great interviewer, great content. Much love.
Thank you.
For everybody out there, until next time, bye.
Bye-bye.